Hi everyone, and welcome back to my platform. Today is February the 17th. I hope you're doing well. The sun is shining, but the temperature dropped here, so it's kind of for me just staying comfortably and just inward and just enjoying myself. So I decided to make a video, and today should be probably a shorter video, so kind of short and sweet. And we'll talk about the Churchill, Aleister Crowley, and Adolf Hitler timeline. Winston Churchill, Aleister Crowley, Adolf Hitler timeline. Of course, it's Ascension glossary, but and I'll talk more about it. You know, I like to elaborate about things because we deal with energy, frequency, vibration. So today is going to be like the starseed disclosure about these kind of interesting timelines. That's why we see the one world order, new world order, all this chaos and confusion, and we see all these agendas kind of happening, transpiring, because this been it's been set back in 1930s, even before the World War II. Okay, and things are transpiring because this is what is transpiring is all been planned, pre-planned. It's like a script, and it's not only coming from this dimension, from planet Earth, but it has to do also from other has to do other civilizations, other planets, ET, extraterrestrials, and of course negative aliens from this, not only this universe, from other universes, from this galaxy. Okay, so this here we talk about the exopolitics. Okay, and we talk about, of course, the ascension is happening while we are resolving these timelines of that phantom matrix, right, of that fallen tree of life, of that artificial Merkaba. That's the the base 10 mathematics of the Dracos. Okay, the Metatronic reversals, right, all these inversions, everything running backwards, how it was done via whether it's the hybrid Anunnaki, the Nazi, the Zetas, and the Dracos. Okay, the fallen angelics and the reptilians, how they really interceded in this world government, the politics. That's why here we talk about exopolitics, and of course it has to do they overtaken the military, and here is especially I specialize on the US military, and again I see things energetically, and also I'm somebody who I was not born here, and also have a female body, so again only take what resonates with you and leave the rest. It comes through my soul signature, energy signature. So don't take things personally, okay? And but this is for me also why I'm talking about these things, because for me it's going to be like the closure, and also for me to fulfill the Pleiadian covenant, which is to detect these souls from ancient Tara, the 5D earth, and also these souls who've been fragmented and been recycled and born in these kind of interesting bloodline families, including me, right? Those are like from the troubled families where you can see suicide and or experience these kind of interesting experiences. But I did not have any in this lifetime, no experience as far as SRA, satanic ritual abuse, and all this blood sacrifice, and what else they're doing, the black magic, the black mass. Okay, but I was somebody from extremely high dimensions. I mean, the starseed, the volunteer souls, we have to be born to these families. And also I represent the hybrid bloodline, the hybrid Anunnaki, Nazi, Draco faction, also hybridized with some of the Zeta technology, right? So we need to make end to this, okay, end the cycle. And so we are here talking about these things. At the same time, we are holding the highest timeline of the ascension, of the positive ascension, right? Crystal architecture, the base 12 mathematics, the universal tree of life, the KATHARA grid, right? How it's important to study each and every sphere, each and every dimension, each and every chakra, and that's how we are liberating ourselves, right? From the infiltration and from all these parasitic kind of structures and possessions and infections and entities, and freeing ourselves from those implants, alien implants, freeing ourselves from that alien mind control and from all these holographic inserts in our light body, because we starseeds, we have, you know, we work with the sound field, we're extremely, you know, vibrationally expansive, okay? And those negative aliens and other, you know, negative entities and dark forces, they feed off of our chakras, and it's done via, you know, military mind labs, right? Or, you know, all these MK Ultra, Monarch, right? All these LSD, when those guys join military, who are highly advanced souls, who are Pleiadians, or who are, you know, the Starseeds, Rosicrucians, who are Indigo warriors, who are spiritual warriors. They're Rosicrucians, and in military, they are turning them into Satanists, right? Putting them into terroristic organizations. They're creating digital avatars or dark avatars. It means their body is being possessed by the Dracos or by the reptilians and so on, and they're executing the agenda of those negative aliens, right? And we talk, including, right, those guys in Moon, Mars, those are Niburian military bases, the planetary corporations. I especially deal with Hydra, with those reptilians on Moon and Mars, okay? With the satellites on Saturn, right? That's the Orion group that infiltrated our planetary system, right? The Saturn, right? And even we had some Niburian military base on Pluto. That's 10 dimension. Again, if you understand stargates, energies, dimensions, portals, right? Remember your chakras, your energy centers, those are portals to those other dimensions. And if you're being, you know, if you experience SRA, if you have your CCP JEP, if you're then mind control, you join MC under MIC under DARPA, you're property of DARPA, and you are running reversals in your meridians, in your chakras, in your aura energy field, right? It becomes very dirty, filthy. It's hooked to that black box programming, to the cloud, right? Those quantum, the supercomputers of the Dracos, of the Nazi reptilian faction, right, or the hybrid Anunnaki, right, and that's how, you know, you become a part of that club. Or they create cyborg or drone out of you, and you know your personality changes and your body's infected. That's how they're damaging the human DNA. You're running the reversal. So, and we talk about the intracorporal AI and nanotechnology a communication network, intracorporal, right? So they are hooked to the Internet of all things. With the God mind algorithm, God of all things, right? So we have the 5G, 6G, 7, even 7G towers, right? Believe it or not, why 7D? That's your planetary logos. We talk about it, and here, I mean, this is a channeling, but again, essential glossary, right? Adolf Hitler in 1930s, right? He was then so corrupted, and he was bribed by those negative aliens. He, the one who was supposed to stop the 7D ascension, running the 7D reversals via swastika, originally is a wheel of life, or the cosmic cycle, is ancient symbology from Tibet or from Nepal, right? From Hinduism and so on. So these German, the cult, the esoteric societies, right? They were learning Hinduism, Buddhism, you know, like the ancient script, right? Of the ancient ones who actually founded us. They are the predecessor of the angelic, luminous human race. And they found the divine architects. They founded this universal time matrix. So, you know, the agenda of those negative aliens, right? The elite, the superpower, you know, kind of superpower, super elite, who are disconnected from God, from source. That's why they are running by wave frequency, right? They're in dichotomy, disconnected. They need humanity as their source, as their batteries, and that way, how they want to achieve so-called immorality, how they want to ascend and how they want to rule the entire planet, solar system, the another galaxy, even this the entire universe, right? So Galactic Codex, Divine Dimension, the Guardians are here, the Solar Rishis are here in this dimension, right? It's all about tuning in and connecting when you're raising your frequency vibration. That's why we talk about the 12D Ascension. Guardian protocol, how important it is, fasting, right? Superfood, cleansing, clearing, purification, and so on. So we can finally breathe and be free, and we're ascending and reconnecting with our soul family, star family, galactic family, and so on, and live in spiritual communities, in peace, unity, Christos, Sophia consciousness. And for my soul group, who unfortunately, right, they're all this bloodline, Nazi bloodlines, reversals, right, who are all the Anunnaki, Anunnaki of the Draco, and so on, who were drafted in those dark projects, military covered operations, SSP, Secret Space Program, who received the CCP, that's the Chimera Group, and so on, with this whole Nazi Neuralink, and SPE, that's the suppressive parasite entity. We have up here platform Ashram for Marines, right? And you can find it on my website, yanakalai.com, or playlist if you're on my YouTube channel. So everything is available. And last time we talked about the law of structure, right? And is under Galactic Codex. Also the contract you can find under yanakalai.com/services, right? It's via Lisa Renee. I mean, it's from the Crystal Star family. It's from Andromeda, the Aurora races who are hosting the Ascension, Universal Ascension. And we are dismantling the Universal Shadow, right? And this is how I've been directed, guided, right? In this new kind of hybrid ascension body, because I had to heal from all this abuse, violence, torture from that SRA, so-called initiation, right? So being the Freemason or being part of their club, right? It took me actually many years. And so we're holding the healing container, the platform for them for their rehabilitation, right? And for their consciousness expansion, and bring my soul group back online, being the true Rosicrucians, being the true militia, being the defenders of truth and divine justice, being the true spiritual warriors, being the warriors in Christ. Okay, so voila, here we go. Very important to understand like the information here about the Aleister Crowley and the United Kingdom, and the role of that. Actually, he was, of course, black magician. He was contacted by extremely dark forces in 1904, the Aleister Crowley, right? And for some reason, he, as a young man and so on, he discovered these kind of ET power, like supernatural. Those are not supernatural powers. You just have to be now responsible, right? Are using it for good, constructive purposes, or dark, negative purposes, right? And now with the law of one coming online, universal laws, right? Everything is accounted for. There's a boomerang, right? What goes around comes around. So now now it's like the justice is coming, and it's just coming because God is God, and justice will be served. And so very careful, because energy is energy, right? You can only transform energies, you cannot destroy energies, and truth is truth. And standing strong in the light with Christ, right? That's how we resolve the darkness, the negativity, the whole black occult, the whole black magic, okay? The darkness, the underworld, the Babylonian Empire, or the Nibiru, okay? The kind of Planet X Nazi faction. And so very important here to understand that he was then blending with the elite, power elite back then in 1920s and 30s, okay? He was very much interested in all these esoteric teachings, okay? And not understanding that, when you deal with something like that and you are very, you're not protecting yourself via Christ, you're open to dark energies, and astral those astral doors open, right? And then you don't know how you close it, and those monsters, right, some kind of interesting entities coming online around, and wreaking havoc in the entire energetic system, right? And also people around. Lots of people have entities, and that's why energy hygiene and cleansing, clearing, purification, intermittent fasting, and doing your inner work, meditation, going to nature, and just kind of being simple, humble, and doing positive affirmations is a must for each and every one of us to finally have that closure, and you close the door where evil dwells. Okay, and so it looks like everybody, right, even though from that elite and somebody like Hitler-Crowley is born with, there's an inherent goodness, right, that is being corrupted when children are growing up, these interesting families, or as a teenager, right, and then they become very distorted and kind of depraved figure. They've been manipulated by alien handlers. Aleister Crowley, Adolf Hitler, Winston Churchill. Again, this is my disclosure. Only take what resonates with you and leave the rest. They're manipulated, controlled by interdimensional negative forces. Looks like Aleister Crowley was a very powerful being during the Atlantis cataclysm. He was like a wizard, and he was a solar lord in the times of Atlantis. And again, we mentioned that we are now in those Atlantean timelines here, and but it's like in this very kind of 3D, more primitive way, because humanity used to, they were aware about the galactic things, galactic wars, about ETs, extraterrestrials. It was a normal knowledge that we're multidimensional, okay? And so here, so the same players are here, right? And there's this it used to be, but we used to have more advanced technology and knowledge back then in Atlantis, but the same war over the brotherhood, war over power is here, though, and those are the Illuminati, right? The Illuminati power, so-called. And it's very patriarchal, it's very patriotic, it's very masculine, right? And it's all about a game, playing games for gaining power and control over the earth and the population. If you want to learn more, you can go to German Esoteric Societies. Okay. And then here we go, the Winston Churchill and Aleister Crowley, right? They had a conversation. And also there is a connection with dark spiritual forces. Looks like that Aleister Crowley is he was contacted by those negative aliens, like I said. That was in 1904 in Egypt. You can see this being Aiwass, Aiwass. And so let me see here. She's talking that he was very arrogant, and he was showing off his power, the Aleister Crowley, okay? And he was then mingling with the echelon, with the power elite, Aleister Crowley, right? And he was hanging out with those high levels of the government that Winston Churchill belonged to, okay? And so, yeah, they were mingling with those controllers, right? And that's how they were laying the blueprint for their architecture, right? With the negative AI to control the planet. Again, this is 1920s, 1930s. Okay. Here, the Belial program, mind control, that's the social engineering, right? So I'm very interested about the mind control, and so on. So it was orchestrated by the British and Germans at the time. The World War II timelines, and here we the British power was powered by those negative aliens and by those Belial groups. Belial sound, those are the hybrid Anunnaki from Moon, Mars, and neighboring military bases, right? And it was like the main world power, okay, in Great Britain, in Britain. And so the Belial lineage, they're very proud of their patriarchal domination, the patriotic kind of pride, genetic lines or nationalism, right? And the Britons' power, the crown, the hierarchy, the rank of status, right? Very important for them, have this kind of this so-called, it's called nobility, right? The nobility, the black nobility mafia kind of kind of structure, and very status is extremely important for them. That's called the hierarchies, snobbery, the hierarchy, the Luciferian Templars, the Luciferian timelines, the Luciferian kind of Anunnaki. Okay, so, and they're intellectually very cold, right? All about the bloodline, their status, their wealth, their resources, and so on. Everything has to exploit. So it's time to be inner sustained, inner directed. So we have project for them, right? The Ascension protocol, very important for my soul group. And going back to God, going back to Christ, and doing the reformation here, bring everything right side up, doing all these corrections. So for them, very important, all these titles in Great Britain, the titles, the elitism, the social manner, the social status, and their protocols, right? And all their policies and all these regulations is actually very disharmonious, is not natural to the divine, luminous, angelic human beings. Okay, so it's all about tuning into energies. Remember, I work vibrationally, and I talk holographically. And so the elite, right, they believe that the emotions are useless. Well, then why they are exploiting our emotions, right? They live off of our emotions, especially those negative aliens, right? I mean, the elite, their body is a portal for those negative aliens, right, to come in, right, and to exploit humanity on an emotional, mental, and spiritual level, right? That was all about the terrorism. That's the spiritual terrorism that they were been implementing for a long time. And so they think if you're emotional, like that you're weak, right? No, very important to embrace your vulnerability, very important to embrace your divine feminine, and via loving yourself, right, humbling yourself, right, being compassionate with everything that happened, right, that's how you're making a difference and correcting or strengthening your divine masculinity. So, and this whole patriarchal lines coming from those reptilians, okay, and it's all about maintaining world power. So this is a very hierarchical, very cold, very calculating mentality, right, that is being accumulating, and so on. And this mentality is non-human and is reptilian hive mind. Okay, so again, there's the Belial programs, mind control. Okay, World War II timelines we are talking about. And so this is actually, right, all these, the reptilian overlays, they manipulate the British power, right, the government, the world government, for the agenda of those negative aliens, to create world wars and divisions and problems based on economic terrorism. Okay, and it's all about divide and conquer strategy to gain full domination of the world resources. And it was actually employed by these Belial reptiles during the time of Winston Churchill's notable reign. And looks like Winston Churchill was like a point man at one level. There were very different levels of governments, allies coordinating for the power, for the crown, under the manipulation of the Belial groups, the Belial sons, the hybrid Anunnaki. So now we have the negative aliens. They contact. There's a contact with world government in 1930s. And again, that was the Winston Churchill had contact with aliens, right? The negative ones. And it was around 1930s, and there was a meeting with the gray aliens. Okay, it was secret, of course. So we talk about these secret societies, and it's fronts for these aliens. So anything that's like the secret society, the Bohemian Grove, it's a forefront for those negative aliens. It's for the shadow government, for these various military complexes. Okay, they're working behind the scenes, and it's all about, you know, the infiltration into the world government, and it is controlled by the draconian reptilian races. And so there's a hierarchy of clearance, of course, into the confidential top secret information. But now with these energies, frequency, vibrations, right, if you tune into it, and if you have experiences like me that, you know, life will never be the same, and what the bleep happened, who is behind it, what this is all about, right? Now with those cosmic energies, the plasma light frequency coming online for healing and for surfacing all this darkness, right, that has been hidden in those dark places in the underworld, right? They call it Hades, H-E-D-E-S. It's funny how those Anunnaki and, you know, those reptiles and whatever, those grays, the negative aliens, they have kind of their words, vocabulary, but it's been twisted and distorted, right? They're mocking the teachings of the ancient ones, of solar rishis. They are mocking the teachings of the ascended masters, of those Tibetan monks, okay, in those monasteries. It's all going to divine justice. It's everything under the law of one. And so yeah, and they're sourcing, let me see, they're carrying out orders from someone else, and they don't even know, some people, right, they don't even know where the order is coming from, and it's sourcing off planet in the name of national security. So this is kind of the words that they're using behind it, right? And so it is a pyramidal structure. So now instead of having the eye of the reptile, we have, you know, this is your third eye, your pineal gland, right? That has been spiritualized. And this, you have connection to cosmos, right? Now you can connect to your cosmic Christ family. You can connect to Pleiades, to Arcturus, to Andromeda, to Sirius, right? Of that positive faction for, for ascension, for consciousness expansion, for healing, you know, and for finally remembering who we truly are. We all come from stars. We all come from other planets, galaxies, and solar systems. And so all this compartmentalization, guys, everything's all this organization was created during the 1930s, okay? And looks like Winston Churchill was very much of the orchestration, carrying some layers of this to protect the interests of the United Kingdom. So, you know, all these, you know, occultism and esoteric information from Aleister Crowley, right? That was then given, or it was transferred to Adolf Hitler and SS, and to use the 7D geomancy reversals. They were running the black magic there. So the swastika is 7-dimensional reverse coding that came from the Asian grids and the Tibetan portals. And so they're just mocking that sacred symbology. They're taking it and reversing, right? They're running the reversals in those precious sacred geometry. And the 7D, remember, it represents the planetary logos, right? That's your 7th chakra, the violet flame, right? Thank you, Saint Germain. We are now entering the new golden age in Aquarius. And Adolf Hitler and you know, Winston Churchill and Aleister Crowley, they were working on to hijack the 2012 timeline so humanity would not ascend. And now we are bringing everything into under Galactic Codex, and it's going to divine justice. Okay? So, and this is not happening because we're ascending and we're ending the cycle. And for me also is the disclosure and kind of getting to that closure of that, because I belong to that bloodline. So somebody has to come and bring everything right side up, do all these corrections, and we have a rehabilitation platform for them, for the elite, to rehabilitate their DNA, their consciousness, their hologram, and saying no more to the negative aliens, the Orion group, the Chimera group, and so on, with the Zeta Looking Glass technology. Okay? And so that was a huge thing that was happening, the event of planetary brain takeover, okay, in 1930s. And because understand the 7D, that's the planetary brain, that's the magnetosphere, okay? And that's the NA needed to implement this AI architecture to run the mind control program into the Earth in 1930s, okay? That's why the negative aliens, they infiltrated the elite, the world government in 1930s to orchestrate all this, right? The takeover of humanity, of the planet. And unfortunately, right, it happened in Great Britain. So it was carried out by the Britain's power elite. And So again, the swastika is Tibetan, and the Tibetans were using it in sacred context. But the negative ones, right, the power elite and so on, the high echelon, they're rotating in the other direction. And here we go. Adolf Hitler, he was given the access to the 7D code, okay? And again, the 7D is the violet ray, is a female energy, is the violet ray is the wave spectrum of energy current that comes to the planet to liberate the souls from reincarnation into the lower worlds, from incarnation into the lower worlds during the Ascension timeline. And so Hitler, right, and his SS, which is the was the Totenkopf or the Staffel or the what is it? Well, here the NSA or the let me see. Well, this SS, right? Totenkopf, Skull and Bones, right? This whole skull, this German, that's the secret occult societies, right? They reversed the 70 symbols, right, to carry and that's why they were start carrying out the SRA rituals and blood sacrifice that back then. And so he was using, Adolf Hitler was using the satanic or reversal code, and he created the anti-life structure, and this is how we got into the mess. Okay, so it is, and of course Adolf Hitler, he became so corrupted, and he was bribed into it to carry out this plan. Okay, it was all about depopulation for control. They wanted to override the energy of 2012. They wanted to eclipse the 2012 from actually being able to happen. So no thank you. Okay, so for me this is very important to understand that, and because it has to do with the bloodline I belong to, and also my soul group I belong to as well. And it is very sad. People have to understand that, esoterica is actually very, esoterica, mystica, gnostica is very natural to the divine, luminous, angelic race, but it's got all infiltrated, perverted by those native aliens, right? All these masturbator races, the Hyksos and the Leviathans and so on, right? I mean, those are, the whether the Anunnaki and mixed mixed with those Dracos and so on, right? That's how they were wreaking havoc. And of course they were messing up, I mean, with our genes, with our DNA, especially of the royalty. But we all come from those royal houses, right? The Gold Order, the Amethyst Order, the Emerald Order, and so on. So this is ancient, guys. This is like huge. This is, well, universal, galactic. I mean, this is cosmic, and so on. And so the negative ones, the negative aliens, constantly they've been messing up with the humanity, right? Humanity, right, is representing the universal library of the gene pool. And so now via the whole of a mente that is being resurrected as well. Okay, that's the holes of all these holographic records of our ancient history, of Akashic blueprints. Everything is being resurrected, so we're ascending, and humanity and of course my soul group have a chance for their rehabilitation, their DNA, their consciousness, and for spiritual growth and for evolution. Okay, so now this is guaranteed. And I just quickly, I have a couple of minutes here, the remote viewing psychology of Adolf Hitler, right? And the origin of his thoughts, but that's from Farsight Institute, I think farsightprime.com. You can actually watch all that. That's remote viewing, okay? And these are two experts who were describing the target, not knowing the name, of course. This is how the remote viewing, right? The military kind of thing is very mental. This is their structure of doing things like that. And here they are saying that he had a support group, of course, Adolf Hitler, right? He looked healthy but very angry. He was in lots of pain. There were lots of underlying pain issues, lots of problems. Okay, again, this is, you can watch all that, right? Again, the remote viewers, they are saying that there was a security around him, around Adolf Hitler. He's being agitated, he's emotionally angry, and there are some males in the background, and I think it's that's the Brotherhood of the Snake. I think they're the Anunnaki, that they were, well, poisoning him and that they were hypnotizing him. If you can see him in Kremlin, there's some of the photography recordings from Eva Braun. She was a professional photographer. You can see how these serpents are totally hypnotizing Adolf Hitler, because he needed to start the war with France, okay? And so this is multi-level structure. It's a huge big operation. There are males and females in that group. They're to be mind controlling him, and extremely organized, and he's very stressed, and he knows that something went wrong. And so Adolf Hitler doesn't really understand. He doesn't know what's going on, right? He's highly stressed. He's angry. His anger is out of control, and he knows his control. Well, he knows he's controlled by darkness, and he is hiding his pain. And that's what happens, guys. The pain needs to be addressed. If we're not embracing the pain, right? This is how the negative ego, the reptilian structures coming online, all this pain, all these weaknesses, and how those guys in the military are controlled by that, even their addictions, and how it's very difficult for them to get out of that prison, out of that darkness, out of that underworld, right? With extremely advanced AI. And, you know, that's why, you know, we need to kind of, you know, end the cycle, right? We need to cut those cords with those negative aliens, with those black magicians, unhook ourselves from that black magic grid, right? And start healing ourselves, bring the divine feminine, the crystal architecture back online, right? Activating the etheric divine human DNA, the diamond sun DNA. Okay, very important. Again, back to Adolf Hitler, right? Now he's in a different space. There's a different, the light space, it's calmness, no anger, no emotions, detached, separated. He's not physical. It looks like he left the physical body. He's dispersed. It doesn't feel, what is it? It doesn't feel right. He's fractured. It looks like, you know what, I even think that he was replaced. The Adolf Hitler, what we see later, it had to be, there's a clone and cloaking technology, of course, at the time already. But it looks like that he went through so much trauma. There's the intense detachment. Again, this is from the remote viewing. Intense detachment, like death. And he is in a different dimension. So whether he had a near-death experience, right, and some, you know, whether the same soul or somebody else came to his, whether it's the clone body or the same body, looks like he was in a different body. We'll read about it, okay? And so there is he's in a different state now, different dimension, where there is knowledge, where there is oneness, where there is calmness, there is serene atmosphere. Everything's like surreal. It's hardly physical. His soul is floating above with the knowledge of all that is, right? He's like being suspended. It's like in a meditation state, high state of consciousness. He's experiencing his multidimensionality, right? So remember, there's a soul capturing technology. And again, well, stress, trauma, release, and then there is calmness. Well, let me end here, guys. I don't want to you know, I don't want to go over that, but I can now, because again, I said to my bloodline, my soul family, we're ending the cycle here of this whole black magic, of this, you know, one world order and taking over the eugenics, all these concentration camps and Arbeit macht frei and their Scheiße Gestapo kind of, what is it, Scheiße Kommando, and you know, all this stuff. We're ending the cycle, right? Because, you know, enough is enough. There was a reptilian presence into it. We need to understand that the elite, they're actually implementing and carrying the agenda of those negative aliens, the draconians, right? The reptiles, reptilians, and the hybrid Anunnaki. So we need to really understand who is really behind the whole torture and this whole mind control, and, you know, all these, well, military abductions, who is behind the transhumanism, transgenderism, you know, all these death camps and all these destructions and cataclysm, right? Those are negative aliens. Okay, very important. And these sorcerers, right? So if you're of that bloodline, right? Voila. Okay, like those you see elite, or you know, the entertainment industry, who was doing the child sex trafficking, who is there, right? If you tune into these energies, some of those guys also in the military, they get the Draco DNA and their muscles. How come they suddenly get all these muscles, right? It would take years. If you need to go to you know, if you're going to gym and working on your muscles, right? So that there's all kinds of hormones, there are all kinds of jabs going on in the military, right? And you know, this is what happened to me, this whole Man in Black introducing yoga to introducing yoga, right, to a military, and you got a backlash. Or where's me see, do we have the Anunnaki here? I had the maybe the Anunnaki maybe faction here, or the Anunnaki, right, with their highly advanced technology, right? So they're like the we're the gods, we're coming from the heaven, and we're establishing all these rules and regulations and the admiral law and admiral rules, right? And there is no ascension, and you know, what is it, you know, people are just batteries for them, and so on. So this is, you know, we are arresting these timelines. We need to bring everything under the law, and under the law of one, Galactic Codex, all these OTO, the Ordo Templi Orientis, right? And because I do yoga, right, and we are freeing ourselves, we are the chakra column, lam, vam, ram, yam, hum, the true sacred geometry, the sacred structure, the KATHARA grid, based on mathematics, 12 spheres, right? Even through the Vega, so the Vega system, Vegas, the ancient rishis, right, of the Himalayan mountains, right, and so on. So even though I do have that, you know, the DNA of the bloodline of the Illuminati, right, I always had devotion, dedication to the divine, to the solar rishis, and I had the message. When I was 70, we're going back to God, we're going back to Christ, we're going back to cosmos, we're going back to the original blueprint, and you know, no more detour, and it is what it is. So guys, I hope you're enjoying yourselves. Sorry if that triggers you, or it's okay if you don't understand. It's okay if this is not your platform. Know that all is well, and many blessings. Namaste. Talk to you next time. Bye bye.